Hi there, and welcome to the book of Ezra. And together with the book of Nehemiah, this occupies a significant part of the Old Testament where we see what had happened to the Jewish people that had been taken into exile out of their own land. Then there's the beginning of the return, and that's so important for the Jewish people. And underpinning all of that is the love of God who wants to bring his people back into their special location. And I want to encourage you as you read this book of Ezra, maybe for the first time, perhaps you've read it many times over the years, and you can easily be put off by the lists of people and the seemingly complex interplay between various characters. The simplicity of it really is underlined in this, that God wants to take his people that he'd promised something amazing to and bring them back into the inheritance that he had planned for them from the creation of the world. The Jews were very important to God. The Jews still are very important to God. And he longs in all of this to give us an illustration, I believe, of the reality of being brought back. It's like a theology of return, that God wants us to be brought back into his kingdom purposes and his promises. Israel, you might know the story, had gone away from God in so many ways. There was this amazing king David, and then King Solomon, and then the kingdom split into the north and the south, and the northern kingdom of Israel was taken captivity by the Assyrians in about 722, and the southern kingdom of Judah, tribes of Judah and Benjamin, were taken captivity by the Babylonians in 586 or thereabouts. And there they were, taken from the land which they believed God had given them into a foreign place. And in the midst of that relocation that they didn't want, God was still working behind the scenes, and he engineered things through life of people like Cyrus, the Persian king, this Eastern despot who somehow was used by God to bring God's people back into his special land. And God can work behind the scenes in so many of our lives in ways that we never anticipate, and we don't even realize at the time. It's just as we look back and we look and we think, well, God did these incredible things in time past. The God who's done that can surely do amazing things now. So as you look in the book of Ezra, you see at the very beginning there's this situation where Cyrus issues this decree, and the first of two returns come back under Zerubbabel. There's a list of all the people who come back, and they get into the promised land, and the first thing that they build or rebuild is the altar in Jerusalem. And when the altar is rebuilt, there's the idea of sacrifice that can be reinstituted. And that was so core to Israel's belief and their worship pattern. They institute the sacrificial system again, and then they start to build the temple or rebuild the temple walls. And it's at that point, after the foundations are rebuilt, that opposition comes. And there's another return later on under Ezra. And after Ezra is back in the land, the temple walls started to be rebuilt until the temple is complete and Passover is celebrated. And then even then, at the end of the book of Ezra, in the last two chapters, there's this problem of intermarriage. And God saying, look, you've been told explicitly what to do, and yet you've gone away from me. And Ezra is so keen that the Israelites don't repeat the mistakes of the past, but they learn from their history. We sometimes say that the only thing that history teaches us is that history teaches us nothing. Well, here the Israelites have this chance to learn from the mistakes of the past and move forward into all that God has for them. So you can see the parallels between the Israelite story and our own story, about how the Israelites dealt with things that had gone wrong and how we deal with sin, about how Ezra and Nehemiah, in fact, are books that are bang up to date and have so much to teach us about the heart and purpose of God. So may you be blessed as you look in this little book of Ezra, just 10 chapters that reveal the heart of the Father to bring his people back, there to be a return theology, an understanding that God is still in the redemption business. May you be really blessed, and may you enjoy it as God speaks to your heart.